Goodfellas, look who we are with, Manor from Toronto. It's so great to have you, Manor.
So good to be here.
Hey.
Again, it's like our anniversary.
It's our anniversary, that's correct.
Thank
Part 2, finally. Last time, you know, there's still people coming into the store, Manor, and telling me, oh, I saw that video with that guy from Canada, that endodontist, you know. I loved his collection. I love the fact that he uses all his pens. So you really left a mark on collectors and users and aspiring collectors, which I think is the reason why we're here, why we do this collector talks, right?
That's awesome. I mean, what's incredible is how social media gets this community closer. That's what I've realized in the past year. You know, that if I go on my Instagram, it's crazy how it becomes a community. True. Digitally, but it brings us together. So yeah, here we are a year later. Man, a lot's happened. So thank you for having me back.
No, absolutely. Thank you for opening up with us once again, because I mean, you know, Manor, how important it is. I just mentioned it, but for people having this view from someone so, first of all, a pioneer in pen collecting, that's important. You're someone who's been collecting for a lot of years, a while exactly. And you have some extraordinary things to show us here today. And honestly, I think this is, I mean, I'm lucky, we're all lucky to be able to do that.
No, I'd love to. And I mean, thanks for giving this platform. The way I see this, and the reason why I love being here is it's almost like supporting the community and showing people stuff that otherwise you can't see.
True.
May not be on the internet.
Yeah.
And if it's not for this and what you're doing, and not to flatter you, it would just be, you know, artistry that would be sitting in a dark place. And I'd hate that, and it'd be a real shame. So yeah, this is where I love to just, you know, your collector talks, it just opens things up.
And you know, Manor, you're really bringing me down the path of starting to use all my pens no matter what. And honestly, it really gives another kind of meaning to the pens that one owns. Okay, there might be a few pens that you want to wait for a specific moment, but there are things that you're just like, I'm going to ink this and use it.
Yeah, so it's interesting you're saying that, because I know people, so even just within the last year, people I've met, thanks to what you're doing in the community you're putting together, and sorry for again putting you on the spot, and social media and all that, who have pens that are literally belong in museums. I'm not joking. And these are people that they don't get them because, oh, they just have the money. They really absolutely adore and admire and respect what's behind this. It's not the money, but no one sees them.
Yeah.
I mean, a few of us will chat about it, let alone do they use them. So they have these things, but they don't use them. And it's, you know, it's one thing to look at one of these things and say, wow, that's beautiful, and I feel it, and I can feel the maquille and all these things. And it's like having a beautiful car in your living room.
And never.
Gorgeous car. And you look at it and you feel it and you sit in it, but you never drive it. And the moment you drive it, it's something else. It is a different animal, different feeling. Yeah. Like today, it would be my pleasure to have you write with something here that to me is incredibly special.
Honestly, he showed me this already, and it's just incredible to even have the chance to write with something like that. It's one of the first time. Maybe it's the first time that I get the chance to write with such a piece, which is a pity. But hey, we're changing the game, and so this is also a way how we're changing the game. We're changing the perception of how these pieces can be used, right?
No, I agree. And there's nothing wrong with having a piece that you look at in the door. You know, you did a beautiful piece on the Charlie Chaplin, Mont Blanc High Artistry Charlie Chaplin. Beautiful piece you did on YouTube for that. And it was gorgeous. But then when I actually saw it, I happened to see it, someone else owns it. It is stunning. Oh my God, it is stunning with that 149 nib. And then you tell us what went behind it. But I'm thinking, if I could ever write with that baby, oh my gosh, we take that to another level. But nothing wrong with saying, no, that thing is so precious, so rare, that I want to leave it untouched, but I will look at it a million times. I will appreciate it, I will hold it. Nothing wrong with that at all. Me, I just like to say, if I can, let's put ink in it. That's me. So
please remind me, because I have a very specific question once we're a little bit like halfway through some of the things that we want to show here, and I'll let you start wherever you want to start, but I do have a specific question after, but I don't want to do it now, I want to do it later, and I'm wondering to hear the response, okay?
Okay. And then before I forget, I want to ask you later a question about inking pens. I'm curious, what does that do to the value of pens?
Yeah.
Because I'm not, like some of these I have that I think very few will ever ink.
Yeah.
Very few will see daylight.
True.
And yet I just inked it. Even though for me it's not an investment.
You know what? I think our two questions will be kind of linked.
Okay.
Okay, so
I mean, if you want to start off, I mean, I'd love to, here we are 1 year later, and I'm thinking, okay, what has happened this past year, and how have things, I've seen it only grow. And I'm serious, it's not just superficially. Like I've seen the community, the people I've met, you see the action behind the scenes, massive WhatsApp chat groups.
The kind of people who have entered the game, right? Also
that have never thought of even doing that. Yeah. And it's really beautiful to see that. And I just, love it. Like, but I call it high and low. We're talking about, it's like imagine someone who is a beautiful person, an amazing person, who let's say would be wearing a Lululemon pants, but then wearing, a nice Rolex Daytona, but that's very stealthy, all steel, but very special watch, high-low kind of thing. The same with pens. You don't have to go into these really ultra high-end, high artistry kind of pens to love this. True. And so I brought this. Here's my son's famous boot from last year.
I have to tap into that real quick because people were like, at the beginning, I was so nervous about why there's a boot on the table.
my pencil holder. There you go. It's my pen holder. I was waiting for them to grow out of it. So I have a few of these. But, whether you get into simple pens, this is a Conklin pen. Beautiful, simple, really. If I bought it used now, it'd be like $50 or so. To me, this is special. You don't have to go out there and spend a ton of money to love writing.
True.
So you don't have to say, I got to spend a ton of money, otherwise I'm embarrassed. Like, not at all.
No. True.
And then this past year, what I've gotten into even more is pencils. Again, looking at where we are now versus a year ago when we did this, pencils. And whether you're right with just a plain old pencil or something beautiful like this, classic, architect Stedler.
Yeah, very technical kind of.
$20.
Stedler, right?
Absolutely, made in Germany, fantastic company. Nothing wrong with just all I say is, for heaven's sakes, just put pen or pencil to paper. Just do that, and then see what it feels like in a digital world where I've got my, and then see where it takes you. And I actually know someone who is doing incredible artwork, like massive, hand-drawn, very precise artwork of watches and stuff like that, just with this. It's amazing.
Such an important message, because yes, of course, on this channel we cherish the craftsmanship behind beautiful pens, but it all goes down at the end of the day, also in terms of emotion, of how you're gonna feel by using and by putting the pen on paper. Doesn't matter if it's a $1 pencil or if it's something super valuable.
Or, this, I mentioned last time, I love the Perfect pencil.
Yeah.
It is classic. Faber-Castell, first-class company. They take it to pride, they put such pride into it. So many generations, they plant their own trees. Like, they really respect this thing. And I love your collaboration, like their collaboration and you highlighting this with Leica here. Look, it's black on black. It's got the sharpener in the back. It's got an eraser over here. Like, just
and also the beautiful quote, because I think these are the little details that every time you pull out the pen, you're like, oh yeah, there's this quote that reminds me to risk, to be courageous, right?
Yeah, and yet how beautiful. Pencil, I love pencil on paper. So whether it's these or a Perfect pencil or something that I'm very grateful you highlighted this year, Yardled, which I came to know this company probably about 20 years ago. And I now appreciate even more because now I'm even more into Japanese, like Maki pens. But I always say Yardled, an English company. This is the English version of fine Japanese Maki craftsmanship.
I agree.
Handmade by a human being, not mass produced. And the way you showed it in your videos, which I really recommend, we got to watch it. Like, these are artisans that hammer by hammer by hammer very precise, put this together, let alone the other more complicated ones. Not only do I love using the pencil and the history, yard of lead. There's a yard of lead in here. It's like, how clever. Not only do I love the artistry and the fact that it patinas with time. I love sterling silver, and I love pencils. But when someone buys something like this, you're actually helping artisans. You're literally helping artisans in a dying craft, unfortunately.
You are actually preserving a whole company as a patron of art. Of course, you're also getting a lot of value because the prices are ridiculous, in my opinion, for what you're getting at the end of the day, right? Sorry if I interrupt.
Yeah.
Just want to talk about like the Grand, for example, the hand chased. So Grand, hand chased, sterling silver, 18 karat gold, a few maids per month.
Yep.
At 1,500 Swiss francs.
When you think about, I mean, again, it's to many people, with all due respect, it's still a lot of money. I understand that. But when you think about how much did this craftsman, this artist, she or he, like you showed in your YouTube video, how many hours they spend, how much do they get paid per hour? How much is the overhead? The company still needs to make a little bit of a profit to survive and hopefully grow.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's you ship it over, and then someone's got to make a commission somewhere. You sort of wonder, like,
chain,
it is, when you compare that to other luxury goods, the markup is so minimal. And people might hate me for saying this, but I really think a company like this should increase their prices. And I'm not, don't be mad at me, but I mean it. When you think about what I was just saying and what you're getting, and how limited it is, and the history behind it, that is really cheap. Versus you can buy, I don't know, a mass-produced pen where they make hundreds of thousands or millions, and it could cost the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Or more expensive.
Or the same. You're correct. Yeah.
So the same with maquillé, the same with whether it's Sailor or Namiki. When you think about the salary for the person per hour, the overhead, the commission that, the profit the company has, all that, really, really undervalued. But thank you for highlighting this beautiful company.
Thank you for highlighting it now.
And that's why I thought, okay, I got to get me another one. and really, because and so to me, this past year has also been about, okay, how do you use things? And I've always loved sterling silver because, like fine leather, it just patinas. Like this haute touche that last year in the video you presented to me. I mean, look at even just the case. But oh my God, I love this pen. It is, I call it like my I'll keep the language clean, but my butt kicker. This sucker writes. So comfortable, it writes, it flows. It could be sitting around for a month. It will write.
Still works, right?
Holy cow, I love this thing. And it patinas, it scratches.
It's yours.
That's the beauty behind it.
It's yours now. I mean, there's none like yours.
The same with, you got yard of lead.
Yeah.
All of these. And that's why I thought, okay, I got to get me one of these. So I'm just going to open this. So this is brand new. And thank you for
just picking this one up.
So this is the Lucky pencil. I mean, you told the story of this.
Exactly. I mean, it's incredible because there was an officer, a British officer, that had this pencil in his jacket, and he got shot, and the bullet went on the pen, and the pen saved his life. And there is the actual pen that was shot with the bullet that is at Yard of Lead. This is sealed. He's about to unseal it. Look at this.
See, now I just took the value out of this, right? It's like watches, you can't unseal it.
It's not true, it's not true. We're going to talk about this in a second.
Beautiful.
It's phenomenal, huh?
I've never held this before. I love it. So here he was with this in his pocket.
Yeah.
Bullet hit this.
There. Yeah. And
talk about lucky.
They'll probably be seeing a B-roll as we're talking. They're saying
but this is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
What a great size.
Yeah.
And pencil. I love pencils on paper. I find it's such a different feel than fountain pen and even rollerballs. I love rollerballs too, but pencils, and if you get into pencils, I really recommend have different ones and different B, HB, H. They're all with different animals. Thank you for getting me this. This is stunning.
Thank you. I'm so happy. You're getting this. You don't have this yet, right?
No, I don't.
Okay, perfect.
And I know it comes in gold too, but I love the patina. Actually, gold would be gorgeous too.
Yeah, I have the gold too.
Man, don't tempt me.
They're both beautiful.
Don't
but given that you are totally into the silver, I mean,
Love it,
the
yeah.
gold is also silver, but it's then gold plated, so you're not gonna get the patina, right? But given what you just told us, I think that silver is what you brought. Yeah, exactly.
And to think again, this is artwork. This is not machined. And
in
again,
the video,
we're supporting this craftsmanship.
And in the video, you can see her doing the guillage with this 100-year-old machine. That's like.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's
right.
The jewelry schools have to go at Yardolette to see the machine in motion, right?
Right.
How great is that?
Which is phenomenal. I love that in a digital world that is also disposable.
Yeah.
You still have stuff like this that you can appreciate.
Yeah. True.
So thank you for bringing this out, like to us, to the world. It's so that, and also it's like in the watch world, you know, independents have had their rise. In the pen world too, you know, you've done so many now independents. Like you've had one you just sold out.
You know, I think it's interesting, Manor, because. We're probably kind of gonna, like, we often compare it to the watch industry, right, and to the rise of the watch industry, but you know, the road to get there where we want to get is probably going to be slightly different. So maybe it's going to be the small ones who are going to make the art relevant and important in the eye of the people. Also because the eye of the consumer nowadays has also evolved in the last 30 years. If you look at the so-called luxury industry, how it has evolved, how people have this sensation for finely crafted things. So maybe it's going to be brands like Yardolad, like Namiki, like Elwood, that are actually going to make the biggest statement within
I agree.
the industry.
Like Elwood, I mean, it was what beautiful video you did where you realize, I realized there's a human being behind this who takes pride in it. It's almost like, imagine F.P. Journe 25-ish years ago. He himself working on his, like, you know, first watch, just in his studio as a student, like actually goes back even more, and all of a sudden it grows from there. Now he's not quite independent anymore, but here you're giving them the spotlight for this. And I agree, people appreciate that, but when you realize again the time that they spend on it, they themselves, the hours, and then what you pay for that versus so many other luxury goods out there, it's insane.
Yeah, honestly,
so I appreciate that.
If this would be another industry, it would probably be double the price.
I agree, but so interesting you're saying that. If I may, I mean, we've got a couple of special pens over here, and you and I were talking earlier about how things have changed, and I said last time, you know, don't get any of these as an investment. Don't do that. Like the watch world has already shown us that this doesn't work. Get it because you love it. And it's such a personal thing. Like, you know, someone could say, I don't know, I want this Sailor pen, whatever. And then someone else would say, oh, whatever. It's not a big deal. Yes, but I love it. But for you, it's like, whatever. That's how it is. You know, it could say, look at this Pelican M1000, gorgeous nib. One of the most beautiful nibs out there.
Red Infinity, amazing.
Love it.
Amazing.
Inked with blue this time.
Oh, is it inked? Can I?
100%. So I just got off the plane a couple hours ago. I'm hoping, everything's good. Although I didn't feel like I had any issues at all. But yeah, go ahead and, see, there you go. Classic Pelican. I love it when you put pen to paper. And it immediately. And I haven't written with that in a few weeks. Look at that, perfect. After it's gone across the Atlantic Ocean. So, see, I just love that. See, now you distracted me because I don't even know what I was talking about a minute ago, right? But it shows you how I may love that. Someone else would say, nah, not for me. No problem. That's, you know, how it is.
But also we have to say that, like, if we look at the Red Infinity, one of the things, you're right, we should not buy it as an investment purpose. And you're also bringing me more and more into just write with it and don't care, just write with it. But we're talking about an edition that 400 pieces have been made in the world. So at the end of the day, I think our industry is currently, it has grown a bit, quite a bit since we started doing content. But, I think so. But it has grown quite a bit. But it's still so small compared to what it's going to be and compared to other industries that this kind of production numbers are going to be just ridiculous.
amongst 8 billion people. So what's interesting is, as an example, okay, if you don't mind, I'll talk about these, where the pens used to be and where they are now, where I agree with you. People appreciate fine quality things and something that lasts. Like, you know, my Apple Watch is not going to last. The phone's not going to last that long. These will last forever and ever. And you can service them in 20 years if you need to. But like, for instance, this thing here. Let me see which let me take a peek here. So, you know, my hat off to you for what you've done this past year. One of the many things you've done for the pen world, and you put together a first-class Dunhill Namiki collaboration, like expose, and then an event. So here's Richemont, this massive company, massive first-class company, and they pick you to relaunch, these very, very rare pens. And it was beautiful videos, by the way. You did it. Dunhill had beautiful. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Don't think I'm trying to kiss up to him. I mean it.
You don't need to, because
I mean it. So, so here you have, you know, this pen that, you know, this is one of a few that you had shown, and this is, man, just look at that. Sorry, give me a second, right? This is when you and I need to like just stare. This is the turtle. Stunning Dunhill Namiki collaboration from about 15 years ago, and you could tell it's Dunhill because it's got the gold rim over here. And you pretty much relaunched this thing, and it just blew up. That's it, done. COVID, all these things got in the way. So here's a stunning pen that I feel so fortunate to be able to hold and see at the event, and you invited me to the event, and for me to be part of it, thank you.
Absolutely.
This is stunning.
You're a game changer.
If someone walked into your boutique right now, go, here, look at this, feel it, hold it.
True.
Really, I would.
And I love that about you, that with your pieces, you're not jealous. You're someone who's like, hey, touch it, feel it, see how it writes, see how it is. So you're really a patron of this industry. You know, you're someone who's actually helping people. You're enabling people to appreciate and understand
Drive the car.
pens.
Drive the car. Don't just look at it. And so, you know, where the pen industry is now. So this thing, COVID and whatever, the industry was quiet many years ago. You relaunched it. It just blew up instantly, gone in no time.
Thank you.
And that event at Dunhill was just first class. So this is where we are now. The demand for this has been just massive. But to show you where things were, so we're talking about sort of investment. And again, don't get into it for investments, but here's a pen that I feel, you know, very fortunate to be able to hold. And this is the Dunhill Namiki collaboration from 2003 in Motorities. Again, gold rim over here. And I wanted to show this because when this was launched in 2003, a lot of people said, what's up with this? Like, they did not like this. It's not traditional Asian art, traditional maquillé. You know, what's this wheel over here and the fire? It was meant to represent
the
fire.
how,
there you go.
Yeah, and Motorities totally meant to represent what how Dunhill was born, right? As a company that produces
accessories.
Exactly.
But it wasn't received well. This is 2003.
And attention, this is probably the only Dunhill Namiki that has a clip. Is that correct?
Right, for a flat top. The only one I know.
Yeah.
For a flat top Emperor.
Having a clip.
Correct.
And then it has a clip that has a D of Dunhill. So it's not the rounded clip.
Correct.
But it's a flattened clip.
So that's right. Very, very special for that reason. And the nib, of course, is special for that too. Only 25 of these were made. 8 billion people, only 25 on the planet. And it took months and months, like half a year minimum. And it's only the highest artisans would make this. This is just a Sato that made this one. My point is, when this came out in 2003, it was a different world, in the pen world. It came out, wasn't well accepted. At auction at Bonham's in 2010, it sold for about $10,000 US plus commission. This today, if
Sorry,
you look it up,
I'm looking.
I know. We can just pause this, ignore all of you, and then just
Sorry.
look at that.
Bonhams, we were saying
And
Bonhams.
2010, they had it in auction. It sold for about 10,000 US plus commission. 2010. If you look at this nowadays, it is just in another world. With time, the pen industry for fine craftsmanship, that is not just super fine craftsmanship, but very limited, very respected, tradition behind it, history behind it, there's demand. And that speaks for itself.
True.
And so going back to what you're saying, how watches, where are pens now related to watches, this is where they are. And not to say, okay, go out and start buying as an investment, but certain things like, I know you have here in the back, I can't believe you still have, you actually got your hands on one, like the Emperor, the goldfish. You know, pretty soon that thing's not going to be around. It's been now in production,
right?
Of all people. What a legend. But okay, how many years can you produce that for?
Yeah.
And sooner or later, that and the other one, the Yukari Royales, that are any of them in production, the Emperors right now that are in production, okay, soon enough, this artist will say enough, and they will never produce it. It's not like a watch where the machines are still there,
No.
they can produce again, never again.
And I mean, 25. I mean, okay, so even the goldfish is a small number,
Right.
But here we're talking about 25 and 25 pieces, 25 human beings, and who knows how many intact pieces there really are on the market yet.
Right.
Still, maybe 5, 6, 7.
So it's true. Both of these, I agree. Especially something like this. Out of the 25, let's say made 2003, over 2 decades ago, I would say, my guess, a third to a half are just gone. The owners, they passed away. It's sitting around some basement somewhere.
Exactly. Or
the other half.
Yeah.
It's there, maybe not with box and papers. The box for this, by the way, is stunning.
Maybe somebody purchased it to gift it to someone, and the guy was like, "Who cares about that?" Right?
Kids may not even, they inherited this, like, oh, it's just a pen.
Yeah, true.
And so you're right. Out of the 25, where it took 6, 9 plus months for this high artist to make these, there's only a handful. You're right, just a handful, and that also represents how the value's gone up. Even the goldfish Emperor. Okay, so it's been in production now for a decade or so.
Yeah.
How many does Sekishida make a year? Maybe he makes 6 at a time, takes half a year for each one, so he makes 10, 12 a year, I would guess. Over 10 years.
I think it's a bit higher than that, but it's still...
Let's say he made 150 in the last 10 years. It's not much.
Ridiculous, yeah.
And then again, you think about how much work goes into that, the highest of artists, and then how little you're paying, and I'm not trying to justify, it's still a lot of money, I respect that, but versus a watch, you could buy some watch that's mass produced by Rolex, they make thousands within the first hour in the morning.
And it's the same price within the first hour in the morning.
So that's what I mean, where the pen world is now versus where it was 5, 10, 20 years ago, and where it's going, people appreciate fine craftsmanship, and whether it's Yardeled or the Japanese version of it, even when it comes to something as simple as just red pens. There's red, and then there's Japanese red.
There's vermilion red, right?
There's different. So, I mean, like you look at these two, Namiki, number 50, number 20, vermilion. Just to make the Urushi, if someone, if you could, just go on YouTube, see how hard it is just to extract the Urushi from the trees. Just that process, and then to color it. And then the artist actually has to hand make these, and no two reds are ever exactly the same. Something as simple as this, and you realize how limited this actually could be. You think, it's just a red pen. There's red, and then there's Urushi red. And even something such as the Sailor, and I love this, the king of pens. I love the fact that now this is not smooth.
True.
So when I'm holding pens, maquille pens, I love to just do this. I'm just talking to someone, it's in my hand, and I feel it.
And you know what's funny? It's gonna flatten up with the time. The more you use it,
so someone like me.
Yeah, exactly. So it's gonna get a patina too.
But still, it'll be like that is such a rich red. And then have to say the Sailor king of pens. So to me, it's like when it comes to nibs, it's this, the number 20, Namiki, the Pelican.
This is inked, right? It's the number 20.
It's absolutely. This one I've loaned to many people to enjoy what writing is like. Yeah, I just love, again, another pen that just writes. Could be sitting around.
What ink is this?
That's got to be a Pilot.
I need this
red. Yeah, just rich blood red kind of thing, and it just writes. And it was on a plane going across the Atlantic, no problem.
Wow.
To me, I tell people who get into pens, I go, you need to have this in your collection. So there's actually a very dear friend who has been into fountain pens for years, but sort of like in a small way. This one, I don't know if I re-put the ink in it, but look at that nib. I love it. If you had an ink bottle here, you could just dip it in there and put it out, be happy. But it's, so then I exposed him to Japanese. This is someone who already appreciates Japanese craftsmanship of various sorts. And I exposed him to Namiki Japanese craftsmanship. And it starts with the Yukari Royale, and there's no going back. And he's hooked. And this is where he goes with a magnifying glass. And this is when you appreciate it.
Yeah.
And so I just love these. And I'm so happy. I appreciate it. I was looking forward to picking this up from you right now.
You have several Sailor King of Pens.
So I have King
already,
of Pens.
Right? Yeah.
But this one with the clip is just so practical.
True. And I
so
think
understated.
It matches so nicely with the other
that's right.
vermilion ones.
I just love it. And that, so this nib, again, going back to high-low, you don't have to jump in there and spend so much. Nothing wrong with getting something like this. The
1911, large, 21 carat.
And just phenomenal pen. So this was gifted to me by my beautiful wife when I got a master's degree years ago.
Wow.
And so I engraved it. So it's actually engraved.
Oh, can I see
it? This was 2007. Wow. It's like, yeah, so now it's worth nothing, I guess. I was going to ask you later. Yeah, to me it's priceless. So, I haven't used that one in a little while, but this used to get so much writing.
So actually we're getting close to the question that I have. So maybe let me start, since you mentioned that now, okay? And then I'll let you keep on going. The question that I have, and I don't want a politically correct answer. I want to know exactly what does it feel like. Because you're a very humble guy, and we all love that about you, your genuinity, but you're someone who has some very important pieces that you use. So, I'm coming to my question. I'm trying to build a bit of suspense.
I'm looking forward to this.
Once you start writing with more expensive fountain pens, do you actually get difficulties getting back to a pen that is just way simpler? Just because the feeling that you get by writing with something like this or something like this is just superior, and you're like, and look, my head would be like, no, I'm not gonna use this. I love it, I have it here, it's engraved, I remember, it's a memory, but that's how I wanna feel when I write.
So that's a good question. No, I actually, over the years, I've gone back to some of my original pens, which I love, back then in my life were probably the most expensive pens I've owned, because
of course it
was a different stage in my life where, you're paying off loans. You get your priorities straight in life. Pay off your loans, get things done.
And then start.
And then if you can, but if you can't, again, start with low, high-low, something simple.
Yeah.
21 karat nib on the Sailor 1911. So I've gone back actually to some of the simpler pens that I've had from way back.
Funny.
I was talking to Luca once, and when he saw our collector talk, he said, yeah, I remember that, the simple Faber-Castell, the entry-level ones, I miss those. And here's Luca, who you've shown has got, oh my God, this gentleman is amazing. That is a collector. And yet, he remembers, I'm going to go back to a simple one too. I agree. The only thing that annoys me is when a pen does not write. So, I have here an Omasa. I loved this company. Beautiful celluloid, hand finished.
Ebonite feed.
Yeah, handmade.
That's it?
Absolutely. Except it would never write.
Yeah.
It never writes.
So you get the feeling when you're writing with something crazy, you get the feeling, I want to go back to...
I'm happy to, so long as it works. So this one, it's like, I have no patience for that. And Angie, in one of her collector talks, would say she loves pens to just keep up. You did one on this with your green one, and he said, you just keep writing. I know what you mean. There's nothing more annoying. So then when I got that and it didn't write, then I said, okay, but I love the pattern on it, so I'm just going to get a rollerball.
Oh, cool.
And I do love rollerballs. I would really highly recommend that people don't just collect fountain pens. This is the 360. But use pencils. Use rollerballs. There's something beautiful about it. You interviewed Marco from Berdeen's Watches in Chicago. And I remember he said he actually likes rollerballs or ballpoints because it's sometimes more practical. And like, I get it.
True. No, there are
it's nice to have that collection. And this I've had for a long time. I love going back to it. But it is nice when you go into like some of the, the higher end ones. They're special. They're super special in their own way, and I baby them, but I would write with them. But it is nice to go back to still these. I love that. So that's a good question.
Do you also feel better when you are like writing with a normal pen? Like, just feels better in the sense that you still don't feel like you're ruining your more valuable
like
pens?
A normal. So I love putting pen to paper, and I love it when, look, I'm pink, dark brown, it's so therapeutic writing. And I have this Japanese marker. It's like $5. I went into an art shop. I was lecturing in Vancouver. And I was like, oh, there's an art shop, like a art supply store. And I love this Japanese brand. And all of a sudden, I'm just writing with it. They're all different. So you have to write with them. Nothing wrong with starting even just with this, because there's nothing more beautiful, I think, than when you get into writing on paper. So, whether it's this or a pencil or a fountain pen.
I think what's important at the end of the day is you are writing on purpose. And writing on purpose makes you want to explore what writing utensils are out there. And so whether it's super, super affordable or something that is more craftsmanship and art, it's amazing, as long as it writes.
Right, and when you had a video about, how it's actually therapeutic. Some people would say, oh, whatever, that's silly. Like, no, I really think it is, because it involves writing, pencil, rollerball, fountain pen. It involves multiple senses. You have to use your sight to see what you're writing. You're thinking about what you're going to write, and then when you're holding this and you're actually writing, you're feeling. The pen, and you're feeling how the nib is on paper. Like all these, so it's multiple senses that go into using this. And to me, the heart of it still is the nib. So that ebook that you have, which I have to grab. I love this thing.
Thank you.
I mean, again, what you've done, it's only been a year. Oh my God, so much you've done in a year. Like this thing here, what you see on here is beautiful. This is the heart of every pen. I'm showing it to you like you don't know this, but it's incredible for people to appreciate.
I'm really glad if someone like you appreciated it.
But it's not, it's just a pen and how much does it cost? It's like a pair of shoes or expensive Nikes or a watch. Okay, I know the name and I know it's expensive. Like, no. There's something behind this that I want you to appreciate. Here's the Pelican. Like, they're all different, and you write about it, and it's actually.
I try to give people this background info when they're.
I don't know how long
off.
You spent on.
Yeah,
on
a lot
this
of
thing.
hours.
Here's one of my favorite feeds. This. By the way, this, just a little suggestion, is like one of the best gifts you can give people, because I've done that. It's the price of, I don't know, less than an ink bottle. Some of the ink bottles, you get to have all of this, but it's the most beautiful gift, because then you order multiple licenses. That's what I've done. And then I just email it to friends.
To read it, exactly.
And I actually preferred, I thought it'd be nice on paper, and it is. On the other hand, it's actually beautiful to have it on my phone or the iPad. Like, I'm on the plane and I'm looking at this. Like,
you can go back all the time. At some point, so I'm gonna do a nice
my hat
book.
off to you. I don't know how much time you spent on this thing.
Many hours.
Oh my God, love it. So here, one of my favorite feeds. again, what has happened in the past year since we met? So much. This is just one of many things. I love this pen it did, The Good Life. This Delta.
Is it also?
Of course, and it's got red. And another one that just works so well.
Very good, huh?
It works so well. I love that fine nib. And it's so comfortable in the hand. I love staring at the nib. Again, multiple senses. You feel it scratching or making contact with the paper. You feel the pen. You're looking at it, and you're thinking about what you're going to write. You know, and you know, this is handmade in the shop by an artist. And again, we're supporting these beautiful people here. I not sound cheesy, but I really mean that.
True. It's true.
But this one especially, Style of Zug here. I love this pen.
So this is the pen is showing here. This is the Good Life. Probably many of you watching know about it. We launched this last July. 36 pieces total in 4 different nib sizes, because they found these nib sizes of the old oversized Delta nibs, and we get the chance to create a pen around the main actor, the heart of it, which is the nib, and then we put a Napolitan sentence here, which was supposed to be in English, but then since the brand is Napolitan from Naples in Italy, we said we're going to put it in Napolitans, and the sentence was in English, "There's no fear in the heart of a writer." And then we translated that to Napolitan, which is "Non esiste paura di indogare uno scrittore."
I love it.
So, you know, it's kind of poetic also.
So that, and that sold out like instantly.
A week. Like
instantly.
I mean, 90% within 2 days, and then the last remaining pieces within a week.
Like that is, I love, and that I use a lot.
I'm so happy to hear that.
A lot. So, I mean, really, my hat off to you. Like what you've done in the past year.
Thank you.
And me seeing how the community has, I really do feel it's not just my little circle, but how things have grown. And not just of the high-end pens. You know, because I spoke to someone recently, and they said, you know, they're kind of turned off by some people who show off only the spectacular pens. And this is where I feel a bit uncomfortable. It's really not like me to show some of these pens, because I'm usually very under the radar. And I hope it's not going to be like at the watch industry where now people are like showing off. It's like, no, we really love it and appreciate it. And when you see someone like Luca and other people showing off their pen, like they love this, they appreciate it.
But look, Manor, I think that at the end of the day, when something grows in awareness and in perceived value, then you always have both. You have the lovers and you have the, let's call them flexer, right? The one who are just gonna flex the fact that they own.
Hope we never have those, and I never want to be one of those.
No, and you're not. But I mean, at the end of the day, both have their reason of existence. There is people who buy a house because they want to have a beautiful house for their family, and there's the one who buying a house so they can show their people what kind of house they purchased. Or there's people buying a certain Ferrari because they really understand and love the engineering behind it. And there's the one buying it because they want to go drive within the city. So at the end of the day, the more the perceived value will go up, the more we're going to have this 2 type of people. What I do hope, even if, you know, you mentioned last time, it's a honeymoon time. So if you want to get into some of these pens, this is the moment to do so. Because this pen here in 3 years from now, it's 400.
Well, it's interesting. The honeymoon, so it's only been 1 year. You look at what some of these Namiki pens are going for now. They actually finally raise the prices.
In Japan,
Urushi is not easy to get. These artists, sadly enough, they're passing away. It's a dying art. So supply and demand, and the demand is really up there. People are really appreciating. We're now quickly how the value is going up, rightfully so. And so we're seeing it even just within 12 months. So I do see that. For me, you know, showing some of these, I'd hate for some of these to be sitting in a safe, in a dark place that only one human being can see them, and nothing wrong with that. But for me, it'd be beautiful if it could be shared with people out there, and that's what you're doing, you know, in showing this. Because otherwise, it's like, imagine fine artwork, you know, Picasso or something. Like, no, one person has it, and it'll be in a safe.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Often they're stocked somewhere because you can't exhibit all of the paintings, right?
Now, some people I know, they would showcase that, let's say on Instagram, but you wouldn't know who the person is.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah,
So
true.
then I respect them for that.
True.
Like just someone I spoke with recently, I said, oh my God, that stuff literally belongs in a museum.
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
Yeah.
It's that rare. But they do share it with the world. It's just they do it anonymously, and I love that. But again, it could be high-end pens, low-end pens. Same with watches. Like I'm wearing like this Snoopy Swatch Omega collaboration. Who says you have to wear a watch that's $100,000, $200,000? Good for you if you have it. But I love this thing.
Yeah.
It's like this collaboration, with Leica and Faber-Castell. Like it's not the most expensive thing here, but I love it. But it's like a matter of sharing this with people. So my question to you is, when it comes to some of these pens, and I love inking them, and there's one it'd be my pleasure to have you try to put onto paper.
Can't wait.
Is what does it mean when you have? I'm not talking about like a simple pen, a common one, but a more rare, exclusive pen that now is inked. What does that do to the value? I mean, I know what engraving does to it. To me, it's priceless. Someone else, worth nothing. But inking, just curious, what do you see out there?
So I think it's a matter of where we're at right now in the market. So there is still a lot of availability of pens that are unused, which means that the pens that are unused will always have a higher value than a pen that is used. Now, state that a used pen could be sent into Mont Blanc, for example, for complete revision, and you might, end up depending on the pen, but you might end up spending something between $200 to $2,000 for a complete revision. Depends on what pen it is, and you'll have pretty much a new pen that
service, just like a watch, I guess.
Yeah, it's new.
I didn't think about that.
No scratches. So I think that in some ways, this sealed and new is a bit hyped up because you can bring a pen back to new. And I do think that in the future, what's going to happen is, and I do want to take 2-3 minutes to really mention that. Let's take this example here. Let's say that out of 400, there's going to be around 150 are going to get back into the market. And out of this 150 that are going to get back into the market, which will be partly unused and partly used, let's say of the 150, 120 are unused pieces. And so these 120 pieces go out of the market.
Right.
And 30 of the 120 people who purchased this from the secondary market are going to use it. Then out of these 120 pieces, there's going to be around 70 who are going to get back into the market at some point for some reasons, Maybe someone, passes away and they go back. But out of the 70, then maybe only 40 are going to be new. So the more this change will happen, and it's going to be fast because the market is evolving and the prices will start fluctuating at some point. At the end of the day, Manor, what I want to say, we're only going to have used pens back in the market. But we're going to buy them to use them. So I think what you're doing right now, using these pens, is what we all will be doing in 10 years from now.
I get it.
So in 10 years from now, everybody's going to be like, what's the sense of buying an expensive pen, $5,000, 5,000, 10,000, 30,000, 50,000, and not using it? And so we're going to get, when the market is going to be more mature, we're only going to have used pens and very, very few unused pens. I do think that those very few unused pens will go through the roof.
And then especially if you have the box and papers.
Exactly, full set. But then the question is, what is the sense of having and owning a pen that you're not going to use? Well, if you ask me, I love it because I know I own it and it's something that I personally enjoy, and that enjoy saying, hey, look at this, Manor, and I know you don't have it, so I'm able to show it to you, and you're like, wow, what a privilege to, for me, what a privilege to see this pen, It's the first time that I see the Motorities live. You're bringing it here to me, it's uninked.
Well, to everyone,
Yeah, to everyone, exactly, 100%.
Enjoy this artwork.
Exactly. And I get the chance to see it. that's already part of the beauty of owning this pen. And then one day you're probably going to ink it up and start using it. Maybe.
These things hold so much ink that's the problem. You go through, oh my God, like these emperors. It'll take me months. My life is digital with what I do, so I can only write so much, but it's just artwork. I mean, it's sort of, I asked that question because, you know, I'd love for you to try one of these. Like, you know, in terms of, again, where's this past year been? This past year has been historic because Mont Blanc.
That's a classic 149. So we're going to keep this.
So this is actually interesting. This is a classic 149. So it's been the 100th anniversary of the Meisterstück, the 149 classic iconic nib. This is a very special pen for me because it's sort of like one of one. Because what Mont Blanc does, again, part of this Richemont, massive company, but I so respect them. Because they're still very pure, is they do every once in a while let people do a bespoke pen. So you can go, it's inked, you can customize the nib, the color, whatever stone you want on there, and you can have them engrave onto it whatever you want.
Wow.
I have the names of everyone in my family on the side of the nib. I customize the nib. This is what Mont Blanc lets you do every once in a while. So to me, that pen is priceless. Out there, it's worth nothing. Because who would want to buy a pen that's got on the nib the names of my family?
Well, look, it's special. It has a story, and sometimes
for me, it's
but it's
priceless.
So maybe, you know, at some point, people are also going to say, hey, you know, the story of this pen is this and this, and it's also valuable because, you know, if I do something for myself, it has value just for me. But now I'm seeing this pen and you're telling me your story, I don't know, it's kind of getting a relevance for me too. So if it ever ends up on the market for any reason, never gonna happen. Never gonna happen.
My kids will have,
No, because
but if it
exactly, your kids will use it because they're already using pens. I know, Fantapas, you send me pictures sometimes. But I just want to say, not taking your example, but in general, if it ends up on the market and there's a story and there's a written story kind of related to the pen, it might even have a relevance for me because I'm buying a piece of history of someone else, and this is so powerful. So it's a story, and we live out of stories.
I mean, if I was, let's say, the John Mayer of pens, sure, it'll be worth something. But
you are.
No, whatever. If Jean-Claude Biver, who I have the utmost respect for in the watch world, if he had that, and I know he loves writing with fountain pens, and he just posted something of his. Yeah, true. I mean, there he is, this gentleman, and he's using a Namiki Emperor, and he's inked it, like,
a Kylin,
I love this gentleman. Yes, that's right. True. So going back to this past year, you know, it was about the 149, and if you Google anything about 149, the Meisterstück 100th anniversary, once in a lifetime anniversary, you'll see a lot of this, which I love. We talked about it last year. Very hard to get pen, really hard. Sold out. Back home, it's sold out in Canada. Like, you can't find this.
Yeah, we have a few pieces left.
I don't know how you have it because it is sold out.
We work hard.
I know that. I'm serious. I don't know how you got, but so it was about this. But then if you know, they always have high artistry, which is like next level, limited, takes forever to make, and there's this mythical, I think, mythical pens to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the Meisterstück 149 nib. You highlighted one of them in a beautiful video. And again, to me, it's mythical because you cannot find it on the internet anywhere except for your video on YouTube. This one video of this, again, I think mythical pen to commemorate the 100th anniversary.
I really enjoyed
I'm
having,
just looking.
Yeah, I really enjoyed having the chance.
Thank you for sharing this with people. I really let the world know about this. This is a pen. It actually took years to make between the concept, the planning, and then the craftsmanship behind this thing with this 149 nib, like you said, that is hand engraved.
Did you knew that
I knew that.
Okay.
It was.
Can I?
It's something else to hold. Again, if someone walked into the boutique right now, go, here, hold it. Your videos were beautiful, but that color of the metal, at first I thought, that's very loud. It's not a but when you see it in person, it's not a loud gold. The stones are not too in your face.
Is this champagne gold
This-
kind of?
Yeah, it's interesting. How can I highlight this? This is where. Show me if you I don't know if it comes across well. If you hold this, you see the green, and there's a lot of tradition behind this. It's just exquisite, and you highlighted this mythical pen.
I'm so happy. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you. There's something very rich and special and historic and significant about this.
True. I mean,
and I'm grateful
100
you showed
years
this.
of the Meisterstück, 100 pieces only.
And you won't find the internet anywhere. Not the Mont Blanc website.
No, there's no information about
nowhere.
it, which is a bit of a pity. But
And
but
then-
hey, we have the YouTube video, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And then there's another one that's,
Can I?
you know, oh my God, yes, even more limited. So this is the 149 100th anniversary calligraphy edition, limited to 88. And yeah, just hold on. That is pictures that still don't do justice. I find this to be stunning.
Wow.
The craftsmanship, it's lacquered.
All
There's
in gold,
feathers,
right?
All in gold. Feathers actually inlaid in there.
Wow.
Here, there's 100 feathers laid down by a human being to represent the Mont Blanc, the snow cap. They've never done that before.
And exactly 100 feathers, huh?
Yeah, so it is super special, and that thing, like, please write with it. Like, this is when
Guys,
the artist.
Can you imagine this pen here? This Mont Blanc High Artistry is inked. It has ink in it. It's a calligraphy nib. It's inked. There is.
Try it out.
I mean, the first time I'm writing with
So
such a
here's
piece.
that card. It's in your living room. I say, here's the key, and go and.
Check it out.
Yeah.
And how well it writes.
And I love this about Mont Blanc. Again, like so many of these other pens, they just write so well.
Also hand engraved.
Completely hand engraved.
Wow.
Yeah, and very comfortable. Again, mythical. I feel like we're very, 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 very fortunate.
Very
And
fortunate.
we should be very grateful to be able to have it here.
Inked, ready to be used. Wow. Wow.
But-
Wow.
But to let the world know. So, you know, I the only thing that I feel sort of uncomfortable about it a little bit is like, you know, I don't want it to come across like we're you know, showing off these things. It just, to me, it's more sharing.
Yeah.
I
think
again, if someone else walked in, so long as they know how to use fountain pens, I'd be happy if they use it. At the boutique in Toronto, which is a first-class boutique. There are boutiques where I've seen salespeople where they have no idea what they're even selling. It could be a $50 pen or a $1,000 pen.
Doesn't
they
even
have no
matter.
idea.
Yeah.
That boutique is first class.
Very good. Very good.
And I said, go ahead, write with it. And
Who are
it's
we
a pleasure.
Who are we gonna shout out of the boutique? You have anyone?
Oh, I'll say Marina and Heidi.
Very good. Very good.
Chapeau.
Hi, Marina
Thank
and
you.
Heidi. When I'm in Toronto, I'll be coming to the boutique.
No, really. Just they're people that love this and respect this
That's
and
amazing.
admire. And then there are people who say, I just want to sell pens. And yeah, so this is, I think when you see it in the flesh, so many pens, or when you write with it, there's a dear friend who is like my hero. He wants to limit his watches to 3 and his pens to 3. Can you imagine? You and I would fail that
No,
test
yeah.
in the morning.
Immediately.
What do you mean only 3 pens in my life?
Yeah.
And 3, there's no. This guy is like my hero, where it's like less is more.
Yeah.
And I do believe in that. I would rather you buy something more special,
Yeah,
but have less
yeah.
of it. I would rather have this than 5 emperors.
Yeah, that's
it.
why
Like, be
I was.
patient. Don't jump in there and buy a gazillion different things.
I agree.
But this person with 3 pens, so we met and over coffee and breakfast, and there's paper, and I brought a whole slew of different pens, different nibs, and I said, try this one. Now try that one, and see how that feels, and try that one. And what he thought he would love, then he tried that pen. He's like, nope, this is my pen. So if you can, if you can come in here, if you can see friends,
Correct.
like let me try your pen versus just on the internet. Some don't have the luxury of even being able to come into a boutique or handle these directly.
Yeah, but geographically, it's not always easy.
Right, and thank God for the internet for that. But if you can, there's something about each one of these has a different personality.
True.
So you writing with this one doesn't mean it's going to be so much more special than something that's more simple than 1911. Not a high-low, nothing at all.
And everyone will evolve his kind of feeling, because it has also a lot to do with your mood, with your environment. Let's not forget that writing is something very introspective, right? Yeah. It's something that has to do with not something that you just wear, that you just, pulling up, but it's something you're doing something with it, and therefore the connection, the bond that you have with each single piece is so superior. And maybe, like you said, writing with an Iromiyabi is you've done it in a specific moment for a specific situation, and that pen is going to have so much more meaning than maybe a more expensive piece in your collection.
Right, I agree. Now, some of these are also very practical. Like I was joking with Yvette, who's been here, and Lars, who's been here, and it's beautiful. The people I've met through this and social media and your chat groups, it's incredible. But I was joking how this could also be very practical if, let's say, Yvette is giving a lecture at a university, and he's got a million people in front of her, and she goes, I don't want to talk to that Manor guy, okay? But I want to ask a question. Like, I don't want to talk to him. All I would have to do is hold this up to ask a question, and she wouldn't be able to ignore me.
True.
Like, just look at that. You hold, like, any one of these, like, that's us, almost like we're pen geeks, but I think you understand what I mean.
But we are, but I think what's cool, we're not only pen geeks, and we're people who understand beautiful craftsmanship in different fields. You are a big watch lover and collector. You understand the craftsmanship behind watches. So it really shows that this is not just something for people who are looking for something that nobody cares about, but it's just part of a complementary love for beautiful items. And I want to point it out, it's something you use. You do something with it. Now, the only thing, and maybe that's one last question to kind of wrap this all up, because I think we went through pretty much everything, right?
I think so. Yep.
You mentioned that your work is digital, and maybe I asked you this in the previous video, but we're never saying this enough times. Yeah. Which are the occasions when you write by hand? And is it not something that you are forcing to do because maybe you have a pen collection, or is it something that, you're forcing to do, but because it's so important that it's like going to the gym? So this book is full of really important professional notes for me. I've got, coming next week, very, 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 very important week ahead of me here in Switzerland and in Germany. And I thought, okay, I need to brainstorm all these ideas. And I could do it on my iPad with a smart pencil, and I could do it on a computer. It is so much easier and more comfortable and therapeutic doing it on here. It's actually easier, I find. I agree.
To highlight different inks, circle this and that.
Easier.
So even though, not to mention more pleasant, and it doesn't matter what you use. Could use anything. Could use a pencil, could use a $50 pen, versus whatever it is. I love that. And this is where it's nice to let others realize. Use whatever level of pen or pencils or rollerball, but put it on paper. And I'm really grateful for what you're still doing to make this happen. Beyond grateful. And it's actually not just me. I'm just the ambassador for this community of thousands of followers that I love you.
I mean, so you're a game changer.
Nah, whatever.
No, of course.
But so this is, I think now, if you keep inviting me back, you know what's going to come to you. So this is for you, again, to celebrate. And it's not from me.
No.
This is from us. I'm just the ambassador. I know, really, seriously. You spend so much time.
No, you don't. Please don't keep on.
You got so many different things going on that we're so grateful. And there's no one in the watch world that I can think of that does what you do. And I'm serious. Like one individual, one human being that is doing what they're doing in the watch world from so many different angles. There's no one I can think of. And here you are in the pen world. So this is 2008, which is the year you started.
Yes.
So I want you to enjoy it. And this is, again, not from me. It's from us. Seriously. No, I mean that. So,
Manor,
like
you
I
have
said
to
last
stop,
time, you earn
really.
it.
You're wow.
But it's 2008. You've been doing this. You've been working at this for a long time.
Yeah.
I hope you're going to get some rest here and there.
No.
Catch your breath. As grateful as we are. I mean, I'm saying it's selfish that I keep doing it, but look after yourself. But 2008, special year. Maybe use the box afterwards to hold, I don't know,
of
pen
course.
cases or
This
something.
This is gonna go nowhere.
But
the
that's
box.
for you to celebrate with, and I'm just the ambassador. I'm the liaison. But
really,
like all of this, us talking about this, and the book the ebook, and look at how much just in the last year has happened.
Yeah,
you need to stop and oh my God.
But Manor, it has happened.
You.
No,
thank you.
Thank you, but I thank you because yes, I might, be someone who's kind of starting a fire somehow. If it's not always a beautiful way to say, but I'm starting it off. But at the end of the day, the reason also why I say we're changing the game, it's because without people like yourself who appreciate, who understand, who enhance, who bring this out to the world and give it further credibility. Because of course, I have a certain kind of skin in the game, even if I'm someone who tries to keep it very as neutral as possible and to live what I'm talking. But at the end of the day, I have skin in the game. People like yourself, the people watching, the other collectors, you are the ones who give it credibility and who confirm that what we're trying to do has potential and is real. Yeah. So I actually have to thank you and have to thank all of you for the incredible commitment that you have.
I know everyone. Thank you. I know everyone you've had on Collector Talk and more. And then there are ones that are like super stealthy about this, that are passionate collectors. But it's interesting. Like, look at what Luca has shared with the 149 collection.
Yes.
How many years and effort and support by you to try and find. This is not a matter of saying, "Oh, I have money, so just give it to me." Like,
yeah, exactly.
This is passion,
exactly.
not giving up.
Exactly.
But it's also interesting because when I saw Luca, and I love this man. What I love about this is still how under the radar it is.
Yeah.
So Luca and I are having coffee in Vancouver, and we're taking out pens, and we're having coffees here. The table's full of like a ton of different pens, very special pens. People walking around like, what the hell is this? Whatever. If we did that with watches that we're taking it out, I'd need a security guard outside.
Yeah, exactly.
So I love the fact that it's super appreciated. It's growing more and more.
But it's under the radar still.
But those that know,
yeah.
and they love it.
True.
So it's interesting how it's grown. But I thank you so much.
Manor, I thank you so much, and thanks for opening up once again here with all of us, because we've had the chance, to see some extraordinary things. Again, 2 pens I've never had seen live in my life. If I keep on doing collector talks, I think I will have seen all pens ever made in the world, So I'll keep on doing this collector talks. Don't worry about that. Manor, thank you so much. And Goodfellas, thank you for watching. Let us know down in the comments, any thoughts that have come up during this talk, any sensation. Don't forget that every time that you're leaving a comment, you are adding up to the video itself, because people watch the video, but then next thing they do is they go in the comment section and they read, they try to understand, they try to have other feedback. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet, and don't forget that together,
we're changing the game.